So Johnny, you've been with Tyler, you've been with Johnny for quite a while now. If you were to give Johnny a grade on the game, Stanford, what kind of grade would you give him?
Um, I'd probably give him an A minus for sure. He played his butt off. I think he didn't really have any missed assignments or personal errors. I know he was kind of tough on me, and I would have probably gave myself a worse grade, but I think he probably had an A minus or B plus around that range.
Matt Preem, 247 Sports.
Yeah, Tyler, I was going to ask, what's the things you need to clean up on? You said you give yourself a harder grade. What are the things you need to clean up on from week 1 to week 2?
I think there was just a lot of plays left out there, specifically by my decision making. We could have a lot of more explosive plays. Obviously, that one interception, just trying to force the ball late over the middle, and another one, just trust my feet and hit the check down if it's not there. Things of that nature. But honestly, I felt like we pushed the ball down the field well. We just need to finish it when we're in the red zone.
Eric Skopel, 247 Sports.
Another person you're pretty close with is Ryan Mock, who was just out here talking. Can you reflect upon his journey and then what it means to see him earn those kind of national and conference accolades in his first start too?
Yeah, it's amazing for him just because I've been his roommate for almost over 2 years now, and I remember those days back then where he was thinking about transferring. It was looking bleak. He's getting the 2 reps with the center. Then he worked his way up. I think he just always the big thing for him. He just kept his nose down and kept working. Just knowing that he kept his faith in the process, and I'm glad to see it's actually paying out for him. And he knows that there's a lot more work to be done, and we're not going to settle just for 1 week and a win. So we got to keep moving forward, and I think he's got his great mindset about that.
AJ McCord, Coin.
So I'm curious of your conversations with Justin Herbert still, and how much you guys talk, especially after your first start. Have you guys talked at all? What sort of communication and feedback has he given you, if any?
Yeah. He texted me after the game. Good job, and we talk a little bit after each game about how he's doing. And I got a lot of feedback from a lot of former athletes, and it's always great to hear from them. I'm really close friends with a lot of those guys, and it's good to have that connection still there.
Ryan Thorburn, Register Guard.
Tyler, you guys, as advertised, did take a lot of shots downfield. What are the keys to throwing the deep ball and completing it? Because, typically it's a low percentage play, but your guys made some plays out there, and it seemed like something that was pretty consistent for you guys. Yeah,
it's just about giving those guys a chance. They're extremely, extremely talented athletes, extremely well ball catchers. So Coach Moore always harps on 100% of overthrown balls are incomplete. So if you overthrow it, then you might as well not throw it as well. So you just got to give them a chance, let them make a play on the ball if it looks right. And obviously, you got to take your chances, and that's our goal, is to have explosive plays. But if it's not there, we got to learn to settle for the next read or the check down.
James Crippia, the Oregonian.
It's going to sound pretty obvious, but you guys were on schedule pretty much all night. When you see 9 of 11 on third down, and that's not a number that you're going to see very often, as good as that is, what was your takeaways from seeing 9 of 11? It was obviously it was the run game, it's the pass game, but you were 5 of 6, and they were all for first downs.
Yeah, I think that's just great play calling, great execution, and great job by everyone on the O-line, wide receivers, running backs, just recognizing what they're in, and that just came with preparation in the week prior, and then just executing on the field. So obviously that's a goal we are going to strive forward, and hopefully not settle for anything less than that than good percentages on third down.
Matt Preem, 247 Sports.
What are the challenges with Washington State's defense? This is a team that's always given this program a lot of trouble.
They're a really talented defense. They're fast. They fly to the ball a lot. They run a mix of different coverages. They play quite a few zone mans. They mix it up. So I think they're going to come out ready to play back in their home stadium. So we got to be prepared, and that's what we're doing this entire week to get ourselves ready for Saturday.
Eric Skopel, 247 Sports.
Follow up on what you said earlier about a couple of years ago, tough for Ryan to kind of know what the future held. And I guess, how did you encourage him? How did he encourage you? And I guess I'll throw Alex Forsythe, and then I know you guys are also roommates, but kind of how did you guys keep each other focused when playing time wasn't immediate?
Yeah, we were honestly kind of all in the same situation, kind of waiting our turn behind prolific starters and seniors. I think we were leaders of that second group. That's the kind of thing we took pride in, and with Micah and all those guys, we were dominating, our space and dominating what we could and controlling what we could control. And that just came with preparing like we were the starter, because, you know, that would be our goal one day. So I think now that we have the ability to be in that position and start, you know, we're going to run away with it and do the best that we can to work our butts off.
Back to AJ.
So obviously on the field is one aspect that you need to be a leader as the starting quarterback for this team. But from Justin, from former players, what's the best advice you've gotten from them on how to be a leader in the locker room and be that quarterback leader that's sort of required of you?
Yeah, that's just, I think, doing everything right and leading by example. You know, obviously Justin was at least from Justin, he was acquired a guide, but he always did things right when it was time to work and when it was time to prepare. So I definitely learned that from him, and I'm kind of taking my own style into it, and that's just developing, you know, one-on-one relationships with your teammates and getting to know guys, and always just being there to talk and have conversations with them. And, you know, it's paying off so far just to getting all these new freshmen, because we got a lot of guys here, and it's only going to get bigger, this team.
Jerry Thompson.
Yeah, Tyler, I think it seems like you ran the ball more, the quarterback in Stanford game, than almost the whole season. Are you relishing the fact, that might be a little of exaggeration, but are you relishing the fact of running the ball? And can you describe that run where you went one way, turn direction? Is that just totally improvisation or what?
Yeah, I'm basically going to do whatever it takes to help the team win the game. You know, I don't have a certain number where I'd want to run the ball or not run the ball. It's just whatever the coach calls and whatever's needed to get the first down per se. And a lot of those were scrambles, but in that one play where in the red zone, it was some of an improvised play. You know, we were going to run to the right, and then that guy came free off the edge because of a call, and then we weren't really prepared for that. So then I had to improvise a little bit, and it definitely paid off.
James Kripia, the Oregonian.
One thing this line was really great at last year was isolating some of the middle linebackers in general, whether it was Weaver, Hamilcar. They were really ineffective in those games last year. Obviously, it's worked with a new group where you didn't get sacked on Saturday. How much is it? Again, it sounds obvious, but how does it put you at ease knowing that you're protected, and when you're facing up against a guy like a Woods or Rogers at DN from Wazoo, that this line could do the same thing as last year's line did and take, you know, good players out of a game. Yeah,
that just goes to says a lot about their preparation in the week. You know, they take their craft seriously, and Coach Mirabal is one of the best coaches we have on staff, and, you know, that group is dialed in always. And obviously this line we have right now, you know, you pick your trade, they can play every position, and they work really hard. So obviously, I feel super comfortable most of the time back there, just because, you know, we know what's the protection, we know who's hot and everything like that for the most part. So I know they've been working hard, and I'm excited to see what we can do going forward.
Matt Preem, 247 Sports.
Knowing what a game is like now without fans, do you think there's an advantage for the away team now without crowd noise, and you don't have to worry about, you know, snap counts and getting calls in and out?
I wouldn't say there's an advantage. I just say there wouldn't be a disadvantage. It's everyone's kind of on the same playing field. Obviously, you still got a away team, still have to go to that place, still got to get on a plane and be in a hotel and deal with the whole road game aspect. And obviously, the crowd noise is going to be the same with the ambient noise in the background, regardless. So I think we're just really excited and thankful we can play the game regardless of whoever it is or whoever's in the stands.
Back to James.
Because you mentioned plays that were left out there, Tyler, I'm not trying to nitpick, but you've mentioned it a couple of times. And for those who've gone back and looked, the one to Johnny in the fourth quarter, I think it was a first down where they had a nickel fire, and you went there for the short pass where it's the open zone. I get it. But Jalen was up against a linebacker, had his step. Is that one that you look at back and say, oh, maybe if you see that pre-snap, if you're able to, and what's kind of the difference there? Or whether it was that or Micah getting matched up with a fourth-team corner and a true freshman that you guys didn't quite capitalize as much. Are those some of the things you're referring to?
Yeah, things of that nature on that play to where J-Ro was on the linebacker. You know, that's just we got to change the protection to go out to that guy so we're not hot off the end. And I just made that decision because I was hot and they left Johnny open in the slot to just take it right now. But yeah, obviously that just comes with a good feel for it and things of that nature, just making good decisions and to where we can have effective plays and not worry about, you know, what as much as they're doing, but just make sure we're correct and adjust on the fly.
That's all we have for you, Tyler. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, guys.